Canadian Airlines are struggling to meet demand and stay on schedule.
According to a global flight tracker, Air Canada was the worst carrier in the world when it came to the number of flight delays over the weekend. More than 700 Air Canada trips were affected on Saturday and Sunday. WestJet and Swoop were third and fourth on that list on Saturday.
Carl Moore is Associate Professor of DeSalt Faculty of Management, McGill University, and host of the CEO series on news talk stations across the country. Professor, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon to talk about these headaches at the airports. What do you think can really be done at this point, given that we haven't really seen too much concrete action from the federal government? Is it the federal government? Is it airports? Is it the airlines? Who's responsible for this mess?
Well, all three. What it is that during the pandemic, flights were down 85, 90%. We've never seen this before in aviation history. It dwarfed 9/11. And so what happened is that they let tens of thousands of people go. Now, as traffic has returned, and somewhat surprisingly more than anticipated by a lot of people in the industry, they've had to hire people back, train new people, and that's something which takes time. You don't just send a security guard out the airport. They need to be trained on what to do there. You don't just hire a baggage handler. You got to train them in their job. So this is something where we see demand has grown a lot and the supply of people is not there to the same degree. So all three parties, airports, the government, and airlines, are to blame to some degree.
Mm-hmm. What is your expectation, Professor, in terms of how long this will last? We were talking to another sort of industry insider yesterday on CB24 Live at noon, who suggested this may not be sort of rectified or even improved very much until next year. What's the timetable you expect?
Well, I would say after Labor Day, it'll improve a fair bit, partly because demand will be down. Because the summertime is a big time for family travel and, a lot of people on holidays. So it's something where demand will be down. And during the course of July and August, there'll be more and more people trained. So the supply side will be up. So I think it'll improve a bit after Labor Day. But I would agree that it's going to be next year until things are really back to where they should be. But I think after Labor Day, it'll be better. In the meantime, there's some things people can do as they consider flying.
Okay, and Professor Moore, what should those things be that people consider before they take off?
Well, just go out a couple hours earlier than you would normally, so that you're out there, you're going to go through the long lines, it'll be less of a concern. Enjoy being at the airport. There's some great restaurants in Toronto Airport. Enjoy that as a break. Take a good book so that you can, see it as a positive thing, and just be patient and expecting that things may go wrong. Get the Air Canada or the WestJet app, because that tends to be very up to date as opposed to phoning and being very frustrated being on the phone for an hour or two waiting for someone. So take the update, the app, because it will give you up to date information, and try to leave a day or two earlier if you're going to something like a wedding or a graduation where it's a specific date. So that way, if you're put off by a day, you're frustrated, but it's not as bad as missing the wedding itself. So a few things like that, I think, but mainly just a lot of patience. And when you get to the beach in Florida, Hawaii, just reflect on how great it is to be here.
Professor, I hear entirely what you're saying, but I wonder what the concern is amongst the industry, whether it's airports, airlines, et cetera, about the impact this is going to have. And we're coming out of a pandemic, and now, like you said, demand for travel, especially recreational travel, is huge. I know the business side is down here, but how much of a hit could this be to the industry? We keep seeing these pictures of unclaimed bags, crazy long lineups, people, clips on the news of people complaining about what this is being like. I mean, how harmful could this be to an industry that has been so severely harmed in the last couple of years?
Well, the good news is they have huge demand, so things are better now for them. But, my wife and I are saying, are we going to travel this summer, or where are we going to travel to? And we're looking at it this week, do we want to go through Toronto? Love Toronto, grew up there, but do we want to go through Toronto Airport? But we'd rather have Montreal direct to Mexico, where we're going. So it's absolutely changing people's behavior. Some other people, friends we know, are saying, well, we'll drive to the other end of Quebec. It's an 8-hour drive, but we'll drive somewhere, maybe go to Ontario, close by here. But driving from here to Vancouver to see my brother ain't going to happen. It just, it's a 4 or 5 day drive. So there's something where people are considering alternatives, going down to the States. So it is going to be reflected a bit, but I think there's such strong demand there, it's not going to really make a huge impact this summer, at least.
Okay, it's something we'll sort of keep a close eye on throughout the summer indeed, though. Professor Moore, thanks for your time and insight this morning. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
My pleasure.